Xtreme, them games, extreme shit we see, extreme. Want to know about corruption? Well, listen to what I see. An algorithmic money making, taking, flinging fucking scheme. If you let it, they'll get it. They'll gut you till you bleed. A lot of y'all get fucked by the bucking that you think it's free. Yeah, it's me, the team, the extreme.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Extreme Gains family? I'm Chuck, and this is Extreme Gains. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Sunday, February 5th, 2023, and this is my AMC, GME, and SPY weekly update and preparation video where I go over everything that I am looking at and looking for with all three tickers moving into tomorrow and this upcoming week. I'm going to go over some of my regulars, my snake algo method and methodology for all three tickers, and some technical setups and levels. So with all of that said, let's dig in. Long time no see. I took a week off from the YouTube thing here last week, a much needed one at that. So hopefully y'all had a great week in the market last week, a week full of extreme gains, hopefully. And I want to make a quick announcement moving forward. I talked to y'all last week about reeling myself back a little bit from this YouTube stuff, and I am going to do that. I did it last week, but I'm going to go ahead and continue to put content out to some extent. I think what I'm going to do moving forward is I'm going to put out a weekly update and prep video just like this one every week on Sunday, and then I'll be live streaming every other Wednesday on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel all day long for the weekly Wednesday live stream, except it won't be weekly, it'll be bi-weekly now. So every other week starting this week. So I will be live here this week for the Wednesday live stream starting at 9 a.m. Eastern until market close. So set a reminder, come by, hang out with us, trade with us. I hope to see you all then. Other than that, let's dive into these charts. Currently on your screen is AMC and my current intra-week snake. AMC finished today on Friday, regular trading hours. Even Steven, and then up 1% in after hours, ending the week trading at 614. The current intra-week snake, as I said, is on your screen. That is the day prior to the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake. You can see since its initial placement, it has essentially fulfilled dead on, except for this one little portion here that it fulfilled mirrored, as you can see, dead on mirroring there of the fractal mirroring. And then price action has converged back with it here currently. Now, typically, one of two things happen when I see this happen with these snakes. Either it does exactly what I just said and it converges back with it for continued fulfillment of it in its fulfilling position. So if that were to be the case, you can see what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. Or right at that point of mirroring, the entire snake gets mirrored and then it fulfills in the mirrored position from that point on. So if that were the case, you can now see that fractal mirroring as replicated, fulfilled projection and fulfillment there. And you can see what the mirrored projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it in its mirrored position. Then from a technical perspective on AMC, I had talked in the last update and prep video that I put out about this macro third, this daily macro third being hit, and then a potential for a compressed compact W with that 575 neckline back upside. And if it were to breach that, I was expecting a retest of that previous top, and that is exactly what has fulfilled here since the last update and prep video. So price action retested that top on Friday and rejected down. We are kind of sitting kind of midline here for the time being between the previous top level and that compressed compact W neckline at 575. So moving forward into tomorrow and beyond to the upside, what I'm looking for would be obviously a third retest of that previous top at 655. Ultimately, the most significant level here close to price action to the upside though would be this green line, which is the previous macro shared neckline between that macro double bottom and that macro double top there. And that level is 680 to the upside. So 680 to the upside if it were to retest the previous top. I'm looking for that 680 breach, and if it were to breach 680, I'm looking for price action to move directly up here to this 4-hour third at around the $7.80 to $8 level. Then obviously, if it were to breach that, I do have another macro third from the larger box top setup here, sitting up here at around 1050. Then back downside. If this rejection were to continue to fulfill to the downside, there are two confluence of support levels sitting out in front of it here to the downside. One of which is from this ascending level of support and that 575 neckline. So if price action were to breach that first confluence of support, I'm expecting a move directly back down here to the retest of the macro descending level of resistance from the macro descending wedge that AMC has been in for over a year. It has broken out of that. This would then be that retest back down there to it. And you can see the confluence of support there with that macro significant level of support resistance and the macro descending level of resistance at around the 503. If it were to do that to the downside, that would complete this macro double top formation. Therefore, the 503 would then become the macro neckline for downside movement. If that 503 confluence were to breach to the downside and this were to fulfill that macro double top, in my opinion, this would be coming back down to retest that previous low at around $4. And that is everything that I am looking at with AMC. Up next is GME. GME finished the day on Friday, regular trading hours, down 1.98% and then up 0.18% in after hours, ending the week trading at 22.30. 22.30? That says 22.15. 22.29, my bad. 22.29. The current set of intra-week snakes that I have been tracking and that price action has been fulfilling are on the screen. Red is the day prior to this divergence from the previous intra-week snake, and blue is the day of that same divergence. Here is the red day prior to. You can see that price action has continued to fulfill its projection, essentially candle for candle, since its initial placement. You can see where it's located within it and what the projection would be from it, moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. Then blue, the day of divergence, a little bit of a weird placement on it, but I'm going with that placement. And likewise, you can see the essential fulfillment of it throughout from its initial placement, the position of price action within it, and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. And there you can see both of them. And then from a technical perspective with GME, just like AMC, sitting up here retesting a top on a potential macro third. I had talked about it after this initial rejection, coming down, putting in the compressed compact W, just like AMC, and then back up for a retest of that previous top, and that is exactly what has happened since the last update and prep video. As a matter of fact, it has retested it twice now and failed both times. It's sitting currently on its macro ascending level of support. So to the upside, what I'm looking for is a bounce off of that 2170 or the current location of it for a retest of that previous top at 2330, and then a move directly back up to this macro third somewhere between the 2625 and 2550 price level. Then to the downside, if that rejection were to breach the 2170 to the downside, I'm looking for a retest of the 1948 and then subsequently back down for a potential retest of the previous bottom low, but not before a significant level of support at around $17. This, like AMC, would then fulfill this macro double top formation and neckline breach to downside if it were to fulfill that macro structure to the downside with the breach of the ascending level of support. And that is everything that I am looking at with GME. Last but not least is SPY. SPY finished the day on Friday, regular trading hours, down 1.06% and then down an additional 0.18% in after hours, ending the week trading at 411.60. The current set of intra-week snakes: blue the day of divergence, red the day prior to the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake. Blue has continued to fulfill almost candle for candle throughout its entire projection since its initial placement, minus this one little mirrored fulfillment that it gave, and then it converged right back with it for continued candle for candle fulfillment. You can see the continued fulfillment of it, the location of price action within it, and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then red the day prior to, likewise, has pretty much given a dead-on projection and subsequent fulfillment since its initial placement. You can see the continued fulfillment of it, the position of price action within it, and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Here are both of them and the difference between the two of them. Then from a technical perspective, on SPY, I had posted on Twitter this week the macro box top fulfillment for this macro third that I had here. I do have a potential upper third here in case this top breaches to the upside, but SPY is sitting essentially just like AMC and GME. They are all sitting on a macro third and a potential top build out, and they are all sitting close to their neckline to the downside. So to the upside, just like AMC and GME, they are all three in a top up, neckline down technical setup. That top breach up, if it were to bounce off of this neckline back upside for a retest of that previous top at around 418. A breach of 418, and then I'm looking for price action to move from there directly up here to around the 430 price level. Now, that 430 price level is a very, very significant price level for SPY. I had previously talked about this macro double-double formation forming if it were to form and get this price action back upside for that 430 neckline breach. And if it were to breach that neckline to the upside, then I do think there's a good chance that we would be looking at the next bull cycle market back to the upside. And I had talked about that translation now, literally what seems to be months, if it were to have fulfilled like that. And we are getting closer as we are currently sitting just underneath that 430 price level. However, back downside, if the neckline that price action is playing peekaboo with right now were to breach to the downside, I'm looking for a direct move from there down here to this confluence of support between the previous significant level of support and resistance and that internal ascending level of support at around 405. A breach of 405, and I'm looking for a retest of the macro descending level of resistance that has housed all of SPY's price action for over a year up until 2 weeks ago when it initially broke out. My friends, my family, that is everything that I am looking at and looking for with all three tickers, AMC, GME, and SPY, moving into specifically tomorrow and then beyond into this week. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you all very much. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Don't forget to mark your calendars or set a reminder for the live stream this Wednesday right here on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel starting at 9 a.m. Eastern until market close. Good luck in the markets this week. Make some extreme gains for yourselves, and I will talk to you all at the Wednesday live stream. Later.